I'm doing is pounding wet chunks of bone into the floorboards, so I stop.
I'm George, and these are things that piss me off. Critics, or more specifically, professional movie critics. Now, why do they piss me off? Because of their fucking attitude and the way they look at the way fucking movies are supposed to be. They compare every movie to have to be Citizen Kane, or some human in-depth drama, or it has to be at least an Oscar-nominated movie for it to be fucking good. Now, that's not generally the rule, but that's the way that most of them appear to be. Not all movies are equal. They're not. You can't compare horror to action. You can't compare action to comedy. You can't compare comedy to fucking drama. You can't fucking do it. Each one's different. Each one has their ups and downs. Each one has pros and cons. Professional movie critics, it has to be in this fashion. It's gotta be a drama. Most of the time it's gonna be a fucking drama. I don't know why. Look at a movie that I personally love, Shoot 'Em Up. The critics hammered that fucking movie. Hammered it. Saying how bad it fucking was. It's not a bad movie. It's what it's supposed to be. It's called Shoot 'Em Up. What the fuck did you expect? When you go see a movie like Shoot 'Em Up, you do not go for an in-depth story. You don't do it. It's called Shoot 'Em Up for a fucking reason, because a lot of people are going to be shot. That's what it is. It's an action movie. Over-the-top action movie. It's not supposed to be serious. It's not supposed to be taken serious. And critics don't seem to understand that a movie like that cannot be taken serious. It's like, oh, it's horrible because of story, and you expect me to believe that he was shooting someone as he fell out from a parachute. It's not supposed to be fucking... The prime example of why I believe professional movie critics are so out of touch with today's audiences, with majority of audience, with all the audience, is go to RottenTomatoes.com. Chances are, you can look at pretty much any movie and see a huge gap between what the critics think and what the general audience think. Critics will give a movie 10%, 25%, but the audience will give it like 50, 60, 70, 80% because they enjoyed it. A lot of movies are supposed to simply be enjoyed. That's it. Not tell an in-depth story. Not advance your consciousness. It's just supposed to be fun. Another prime example of why I believe movie critics are out of touch is example Roger Ebert in Kick-Ass Review. His Kick-Ass Review, there's nothing in it about the fucking movie. It was all his opinion. Now, it's okay to have your opinion, but when you're a professional movie critic, I don't want your opinion. I want your critique of the movie. How was the acting? How was the direction? How was the cinematography? He didn't touch on that. All he talked about was how immoral it was. Did he actually talk about the movie? No! He just simply said, and he gave it a 1 star. I can understand if you give a movie like House of the Dead a 1 star, because there's nothing good in that movie. But with Kick-Ass, it had good acting, good directing, good cinematography, good action. Everything about this movie was good. It had a good story. So why did he give it a 1 star? Because he didn't fucking see it yet. It's obvious he gave the review or went into the movie with his own biased opinion before he saw the movie. That's all I gotta fucking say about that. I'm George. I'm here for Two Guys on the Couch, and that's something that pisses me off.
And now, a bedtime story with Joe.
Greetings, fine folks of the internets. Today's bedtime story from Twilight, the #1 bestseller from the New York Times, begins on page 279. It's getting clearer. I could hear a smile in his voice. He took my shoulder and I looked into his face. "Can I show you something?" he asked, sudden excitement flaring in his eyes. "Show me what?" "I'll show you how I travel in the forest." He saw my expression. "Don't worry, you'll be very safe, and we'll get you to your truck much faster." His mouth twitched up into a crooked smile, so beautiful. My heart nearly stopped. Will you turn into a bat? I asked wearily. He laughed louder than I had ever heard. Like I haven't heard that one before. Right, I'm sure you get it all the time. Come on, little coward, climb on my back. I waited to see if he was kidding, but apparently, he meant it. My heart reacted. Even though I couldn't hear my thoughts, my pulse always gave me away. He then proceeded to sling me onto his back, with very little effort on my part. Besides, when in place, clamping my legs and arms so tightly around him, it would choke a normal person. It was like clinging to a stone. I'm a bit heavier than your average backpack, I warned. Ha! He snorted. I could almost hear his eyes rolling. I'd never seen him in such high spirits before. He startled me, suddenly grabbing my hand, pressing my palm to his face, and inhaling deeply. Easier all the time, he muttered. And then, he was running. Well, that has been a page from the epic Twilight, the Forbidden Fruit. For Two Guys on a Couch, I am Joe, and this has been a bedtime story with me.
Find me every wet nurse, lactating hooker, and mammary on tap in the city.
I need a little cream for my coffee.